Hello and welcome to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. My view of humanity is a whole new tea. Okay, well, as you guys already know, you know the drill if you're new. Yeah, I kind of do my talks as if I'm at brunch with a friend or on the sofa dishing and, gossiping and everything like that. And I spill all of my tea because especially being a woman, being a person of, well, being a black person, I used to always, yeah, well, I've already explained. Yeah, I used to, and out of habit, sometimes I still say person of color, but I know that people within the demographics of people of color look down on black people, especially black women, so much. They can't wait to mock us, put us down, interrogate us, or tell us that we're not good enough, smart enough, capable, or anything that we do accomplish is only because we are black. It's not because of our hard work, dedication, and the efforts we've put in, even though we are criticized and told we are not capable on a daily basis. So, yeah, I spill that pity. Uh, well, anyway, I spill my tea. I tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. And so, with being a black woman and having a disability, a lot of people don't understand what I go through. And especially since because I talk from my perspective. I can't talk for everybody, but especially being diagnosed decades, over 30 years. I was born with my disability, but doctors ignored me. And I'm going to keep saying that because I was. And the mistreatment and the trauma and all of the awful, terrible situations when it comes to employment. Yeah, people don't understand the need for DEI. People don't know the ableist and the disgusting racist bigots out there when it comes to employment. The judgment I get on a daily I can't talk today. It's one of those Saturdays where I wake up and I look at my to-do list and I'm just like, oh my gosh, just breathe. So I'm probably going to be a little scatterbrained today, but and that's another reason I do this channel. I show my true, authentic self while I write my novels and my children's books, which I will have more out there soon. It's just while trying to get the greeting card company together and the candles and everything else, because, like I said, being a black woman with a disability, I've been through a lot of trauma and drama, and everybody telling me what I am not capable of doing because of one or all of the items that basically shape my physical description, identity. And I tell you guys some of the tidbits and everything. Once everything is up, I will talk about the business and how I come up with my ideas, especially when it comes to my villains and all. Because listen to my episodes about what makes a villain. Because especially after watching Elio, which I just started doing kind of Disney professor classes, like how would I teach this like movie in a class, what concepts, and especially when it comes to the storyline, because Elio was it wasn't given enough marketing, was not given enough credit, and especially with everything that was in it, it's like a lot of America needs that, especially the heart of the movie, and especially those who never fit, like they never feel like they fit in, because I never feel like throughout my entire life, especially with my undiagnosed disability, I never really felt like I fit in. And watching him, I felt such a big connection to him. So I did one on Elio, and I'm going to do many more. But yeah, I tell my story times talking about the ableist out there, the ableism, the hatred, the judgment, the cruelty, and all that good stuff. Because if I don't tell you my story, you guys don't know what exists. You don't know how awful some people are. You don't know how much humanity needs to improve and mature and grow up, and how much many want to stay uneducated. Yeah, I'm talking about you, MAGA. Yeah, I'm talking about you, Republicans. Because many of you automatically think one way, one specific way, or you want us to all be like you. When, since I was little, they said, be yourself, be unique. And that's another reason I love the Elio movie, because he is himself. And it's like, you can tell he loved himself, which, that'll be a different, I'll save that for the next episode. But yeah, I tell my truth and I talk politics, and yeah, I don't know. It's just this episode is going to kind of be like a scatterbrain, because a lot's been on my mind lately because of, especially with the dating apps. I'm going to be posting some odd, interesting episodes that kind of intertwine dating nightmares with politics in different ways and odd ways, and ways that makes you know that I know that I'm not perfect. Because, and sometimes the villain and the imperfection is because the other person's trauma and mistreatment. Because now I kind of think of the Joker. There's some other villains where I'm like, huh, I understand them a little bit. I get them a little bit. But yeah, so you're going to see a lot of that soon. But first, one thing that I've talked about, what's one thing I've mentioned a lot lately? And oh, I have a series. I actually have 3 episodes, but I can do so many more on this, because I was watching a Zennial talk about how so many people are illiterate and poorly educated. And she even gave examples. And yeah, I started a series because I'm like, oh, yeah, that's my generation's fault. Yeah, my generation is their mommy and daddy. So, I mean, okay, not only millennials, but Generation X too. So, yeah, it's my sister's generation too. Yeah, yeah, I'm dragging them a little bit. I mean, not, yeah, but actually, my nephews are smart. They're brilliant. It's like, like when I get to sit down and talk to them, I'm like, oh, these my nephews. Oh yeah, it's like I'm proud of my nephews. But anyway, yeah, they don't fit into that. But yeah, it's okay. So you're gonna see that series soon, and I'm gonna add more. But I don't know. It's just, now that I'm thinking about that series, part of me just wants to know, why is being educated looked down on? Why is it cool to not be able to read? Shouldn't it be cool to be literate, to be able to read, to be able to have a full scale conversation? Because it's really funny how, even with dating apps, when guys say they want to talk to me, there's times where I'm just like, okay, I'm so thankful I didn't eat dinner yet, because now I can at least be honest and tell him that I have to go because I need to go eat dinner. And then I try to make sure I never contact them again, or I block them or whatever, because the conversation is that awful, or they just want to get on the phone so they can just start talking about sexual stuff. And it's like, I have no problem with sexuality and things like that. I mean, sometimes, especially if you read my books or my novels, not my children's books, but my novels, yeah, I throw that, like, I like double entendres and stuff like that, double meanings and everything, and symbolisms and stuff that kind of gives a hint of, like, you have to go back and be like, oh, hold up, wait, what? Oh, oh, I love that kind of stuff. But when the first thing a guy sends me is proof of his inches or size, I'm like, I didn't ask for this. I don't want this. Or the guy tells me that I need to come over to his house that night. And I'm just like, oh, you want me to be on Dateline? You want me to end up on Dateline? Okay. I get it. I get it. And then also, when men don't read your profile, but then when you match with them, because especially when it has friendship, and you're like, oh, okay, they like because Facebook dating and everything, it's like you swipe where you see friendship under it, which yeah, Facebook, like you guys need to fix this because I see so many just awful. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna talk a whole. Yeah. Let me just talk about that right now, because do you know how many times where I see that they just want to match as friends, and I'm like, okay, cool, and so I swipe right, and next thing I know, they're telling me, I don't want you to be a friend. It's like, I don't sleep with friends. And I'm like, well, you had friendship. Yeah, skip that or ignore that. Ignore the. Mm. So are you telling me that you matched with me on false, like, intentions and everything like that? So it's basically a lie? And then they get mad at me and they tell me that I don't know how to look over things, and I need to, instead of pay, they were like, you shouldn't have paid attention to that. It's like, did you like my pictures or did you not? Whew, and I'm a sapiosexual, so some part of me is just like, you're just losing me even more. But the guy is now he's irritated because I'm just not going to be like, oh my gosh, you're taller than 6 feet. Oh my gosh, that's exactly what I don't care. I like the short kings. I don't care. But I mean, yeah. And then when it comes to even the literacy portion, when guys see my education level, some of them think I'm lying, and they're like, what do you got a master's in? You got a master's in the streets, or you got a master's in the bedroom, or you got to teach me. I'm like, what are you talking about? And then I tell them what I have a master's in, or sometimes both, but usually only one, because I've learned that a lot of men do not want educated women. So, and yet it's like, and I feel now I say both, but there was a time where I learned not to, because a lot of men hated that, or they would tell me, oh, so is that why you don't have kids? You thought that your education was more important? You were so selfish. And then they call me selfish, and I'm just like, okay, one, I want kids, but I wanted to make sure that I had kids with someone who I was proud to have kids with. Okay, and if you look at my dating past, when someone literally blackmailed me to be in the relationship, threatened to punch holes in the walls. I talk about this in other episodes, so catch up if you're new. And or they created a noose. I'll repeat that. They created a noose. And so when I was there was a few times when I said I was gonna break up with them. Next thing I know, they would take it out of the drawer and said that if I left the house and everything, and if I didn't call by a certain time, that I knew what they did to themselves. And or when I was halfway done with my second master's, like they were threatening. Next thing I knew, every time, like I would be studying and they want to, like, oh, let's go to the grocery store, let's go do some errands, let's go to a friend's house. I'm studying. You don't care about me, you don't blah blah blah, and then they punch a hole in the wall, or they threatened to. Only one time did they kind of do it, but I think something was blocking right in that area of the wall, so it didn't work. So literally, ouch. But it's like, if you wanted me to have a kid with that guy, God and karma, their teamwork was amazing and wonderful. But and then Mr. No Heart with his, in my opinion, no good, bigoted family who enjoyed antagonizing me. But it's really funny how almost every single one of my exes, brothers and sisters, divorced, and divorced more than once. his mother divorced, or his both of his parents were married more than once and divorced more than once. So kind of amusing, but I see why when I met them, I talked to them, and oh my gosh, I see why. But it's crazy how some people, they judge those who have not been married without understanding how sometimes you don't meet that person immediately, and sometimes you don't know the trauma, and you don't know how hard it is for some people to find someone who is compatible. Because even when it comes to politics, do you know how many men tell me that a woman is not supposed to care about politics? A woman is not supposed to be educated. A woman is not supposed to strive to start her own business. Some tell me that I'm not supposed to be working, or I work until I am going to be married to them. Then I have to quit and just cook and clean and take care of their kids. Because some of them tell me they don't want any more kids, but I'm perfect because since I don't have any, I could just help them take care of theirs. And since I want to adopt, they said just put my money towards their kids. But then when I say no, that's when they want to call me out my name. Mm, interesting. And even when it comes to politics, it's crazy how a lot of men, they don't read that part, or they don't read any of my profile. And so then when I sometimes I don't match with them, I write them and I'm like, okay, we're not compatible, but I'm just curious, why? Why did you swipe right on me when you like reading your profile? And if you read my profile, you should have already known that we were never going to be a match. Whew. The responses I get are horrifying. The responses I get are horrifying because a lot of the men tell me that it doesn't matter what the woman wants, and the woman has to at some point settle. And it's like some of the men say because of how I look or because I'm in shape or whatever, some women are going to give that up for them. And or why would I read your profile? None of that matters. It's like, and then I say, how does it not matter? And or when it comes to politics, especially, some of the men are like, it's really funny how Democrats, they're supposed to be open minded, but they won't date a MAGA or Republican or conservative. But then when I start saying and proving my case on why I would never date a conservative or Republican, especially I now know I'm probably never gonna get married, but it's like I at least want mate to date long term, you know, something that's at least kind of meaningful or whatever. And that's never gonna be with a conservative, never a MAGA, never a Republican. It will not. No, no. But then it's funny how black Republicans will tell me I'm racist, and black Republicans will tell me I'm racist. I mean, I've had white guys. Okay, yeah, white guys say that all the time too. But then when the black ones say it, I'm like, hold up, wait a minute. It's Have you looked around at your party? Have you gone to a one of those MAGA rally thing? Like, have you looked around? Especially when the orange guy at some of his rallies, he's like, "Where's my black guy?" He doesn't say guys. He says, "Where's my black guy?" And even on TV when they show it, it's like Finding Waldo normally, but you have the nerve to try to say, mm. It's like you guys are gonna hear one of the videos I recorded about how I've tried dating Indian and Middle Eastern, but it's like and it's crazy. It's crazy. After I did that recording, I've had almost 25 Middle Eastern and Indian men swipe right on me on some of the dating apps. It's like it might be more than 25, but that was just I just recorded most of those about maybe about a week ago. yeah, about a week ago. I didn't post them up yet because I need to, finish like adding the fancy, or not the fancy stuff, but you know, trying to decorate, put my proof and evidence and everything on them and everything. But mm, do you? I don't know. It's funny how people try to call me racist, but when I try to date like black men or outside my race or whatever, it's like if I find that we're not compatible, or if I see that you only want to sleep with me or use my money or use any of the things I've worked hard on, or that you don't see me as much because I'm a black woman. See, that's where you're going to see the villainy. And like in that series specifically, because like like I said, I've tried. I've and I just don't think they'll ever see my side, because with the red pill, passport bros, alpha males, it's very toxic out there. And a lot of the things that they're seeing and saying and contemplating, and sometimes they're using their religious views in order to treat women like we're objects, in order to say that women are not worthy or worth it. But then part of me wonders, are you going to treat your daughters like this? Because yeah, if you treat your wife like this, or you can treat your daughters like this, do you just see your daughters as property or pets? Because that's how a lot of the men out here, that that's how some of them have treated me so much, especially the Middle Eastern, and like I mean, all but specifically, especially lately. I'm sorry, like if I'm over 25, but then when I try, it's like I've talked to some of them because I'm like, because I'm trying to prove that I am wrong. I keep trying to prove that I'm wrong, but then what happens? They they say that I need to come over to their house then because they are in need, and I tell them that I don't know you, and or like we just matched today. And they're like, "Well, why did you match with me for? It's like you want to have fun, right?" Mm. And they just prove yeah. I'm just at a loss for words. I'm sometimes, because when it comes to the last elections or the last few elections, it's like, I guess I'm going to talk about it at some point, but one reason why I'm doing a lot of these episodes, especially when it comes to politics and dating, is because a lot of men don't realize how they have treated black women, and especially people of color men have treated black women. They have dragged us, put us down, and told us that we are not worthy or we are not worth it. But then at the same time, like the conservative men expects some of us to still, oh yeah, it's like, oh, you already know about the racist guy that called me the N-word like 2 or 3 times with it. It's like, but then he blocked me. So like I will never know what that whole message said either. Because I wrote, I think it was on Scout or Meet Me. But I wrote that company, I wrote them telling them he blocked me, but then he wrote me this. But then they didn't respond. They basically ignored it, deleted it, or whatever. And I'm just like, okay, so someone's literally writing me, calling me the N word, and you don't even care. And you don't even care. But that is proof that in so many other examples, so many men have put us down and just told us that we aren't worth that. And then when it comes to the education part, so many men don't want women to pay attention. They don't want us to read. They don't want us to look at the details. They want us to be as dumb as possible. And I think that's one reason why they want to legalize 14-year-old girls to marry. because they're not going to be smart enough to see a red flag walking up. And that's the funny thing. A lot of men, especially black men, say, I'm a red flag because with my standards, I have education, I have investing, I have political like standards. And they don't like that. They don't like that. It's like I think a lot of men, especially MAGA Republicans, they see the threat of an educated woman. And I've just watched a few episodes where they say that, like, when it comes to conservatives, their biggest threat or whatever is an educated white woman. It's like maybe they noticed with the last election how 96% of black women voted that way. And then after, a lot of the like white women followed along and said either I'm sorry, or they said don't worry, we're with you. It's like maybe they're starting to see and notice the tide with some women, especially some who are now paying attention to black women. And now we also see certain people of color demographics starting to listen to black women, not listening to me because, yeah, I got scammed into, yeah, whatever. You listen to that episode. But hopefully one day people will listen, because I've been talking about this for about 2 years. I've been spilling the tea for about 2 years about the racism, the colorism, the hatred, the judgment, and how much people take the time to drag black women. But when black women turn around and talk and spill the tea and tell the truth and show evidence, then they still want to, they're like, oh, now it's reverse racism. No, we're showing the truth, and we should be allowed, because like it's kind of like they don't want us to show the true history, because they don't want us to show the true history of this country, but they definitely don't want to show the true history of how black people, especially black women, have been treated. They want to hide that. They want to act like black women, black people don't deserve anything. We didn't work for anything. We just got it out of pity. We just got it out of circumstance. We didn't get it because we deserved it. They keep firing black people and women for no reason, and then hiring white guy but then they say it's not racism. They say it's not racist, but then they want to bring back Confederate statues and things like that, but then eliminate certain things that talk about slavery and true history in museums because they say it's divisive. When no, not divisive, it's education. But they don't want you guys to be educated. They don't want you guys to know the truth, because the less you know, the more they will be allowed to repeat history. The more it would allow you to put us in awful situations. And that will allow you guys, or some of you guys, to see the hunting down of people of color and black people legal and justified. Because if they're uneducated, they won't know. And if they won't know, that would allow them to be on the wrong side of history. Oh, and don't forget, babies, tax the rich. Yeah, we need to tax the rich. Yes, we need to tax the rich. We have no reason of having a trillionaire and also a possible future trillionaire that paid for this and suffering and this racism and this hatred right now. We need to tax the rich. Tax the rich. Thank you for listening to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. I am a woman, I am of color, and I am handicapable. But most importantly, I am human and you're human too.